The 2016 NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship this Sunday at 2 Eastern. Jimmie Johnson looks to secure his place among the all-time greats. Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, Joey Logano. Also Tony Stewart's last ride, and Joey Logano and Jimmie Johnson joining us here in the man cave. How comfortable are you guys wearing a suit today? Joey, if I said you could have a fire suit on or a regular business suit, Joey?
Yeah, I would probably go with my fire suit, although my fire suit is very bright and I'd stand out quite a bit down here in New York. Shell and pencil all over it and kind of look a little bit like Ronald McDonald in it. So I'm going to stick with this, at least for New York City.
What about you, Jimmy?
Either works. Definitely spend more time in a fire suit, but either works.
But when you guys are dressed up like this, will you get recognized here in New York City? Wearing a suit?
You live here.
Yeah, I have an apartment here, and there are times, especially when you're around Midtown or something. I guess probably not the true locals, but certainly with all the tourism and tourists and stuff around, you get recognized.
But let's say we cleared out Manhattan, and I said we could have a race here. How would you guys feel about that if you could go from the tip to the bottom of Manhattan? What do you think NASCAR would feel about that?
I think it'd be fun.
I think it'd be really
I don't know
cool.
if I could get everybody off the road.
Yeah,
but
I know on the east side there's some pretty cool, tunnels, or not tunnels, but some overhangs with bridges and stuff and some cool turns. It'd be fun.
I think it'd be really neat to I don't know if all the New Yorkers would like us shutting down their roads. I think traffic's already bad enough.
But who would be the best driver in these kind of conditions here, traffic-wise, or the way these roads are here?
The most aggressive one, right?
Yeah, it's hard to favor one. We're all pretty good in that environment. But I think if we did have a race in the city, you got to have cabbies. And I think these cabbies are some of the best drivers in the world. From cab rides and threading the needle, 4 and 5 wide, disobeying all laws and rules. It's phenomenal.
Would you drive a cab for a day?
I did. I've done that once.
Oh, you did?
PR thing here. Yeah.
How'd it go?
It went okay. They wouldn't let me drive like I wanted to. We had a chase vehicle in front and behind, so I didn't get to do the true cab experience.
Well, you grew up in Connecticut, though, Joey. Yeah. So how many times did you end up do you drive in Manhattan when you come in?
I don't come up here a whole bunch.
No?
So now I live down in Charlotte now, but no, when I was in Connecticut, we had cars and we drove around like normal people.
What if we looked at what drivers do individually? Because we look at athletes like this, like certain guys jump better, run faster, but can you look at drivers individually and say, you do this better than Joey does, or Joey does this better than you? Can you kind of cut it up like that when it comes to driving?
I think, yeah. We all are students.
Well, what do you do better than Jimmie?
I'll let him tell you.
What does Joey do better than you?
I knew this question was coming, so I'm trying to think of the right way to go through it. There's definitely attributes that each driver has, but the team component and how the car's performing plays a huge role in what we do, and the success of the team. But I would, first and foremost, with Joey, short run speed, restarts. I'd put Kyle and Joey in that category as probably the more aggressive guys. When the green flag drops on a restart or an initial start, they seem to make a lot of things happen with that opportunity.
Okay, so now it's your turn to return.
He drives a loose car.
Which might be a problem with my short run speed.
Get that thing hung out sideways all the time, and you always complain a lot when it's tight. It's like, oh, it's a little bit tight, and it's like all hell's breaking loose when it's tight, but that's something I noticed.
Do you guys get along?
Yeah, right now.
Will you get along?
We'll see in 5 days.
What could happen on Sunday where you didn't get along?
Well, the opportunities are endless, I guess.
But you're trying to win the championship here.
There's definitely lines to cross in aggression and just cleaning somebody out, and would take it to an extreme level. Sure, if there's contact and spinning and crashing, that's more in the racing mindset, and we know that as competitors. You're not happy, but that's something you could work through. So there's varying degrees of it. You just have to see where it all leads.
It's a race. We race against each other every week. It's not really much different this weekend than every other week. Yeah, there's a lot more on the line, but I have to race against Jimmie next year, and the next year after that, and after that. So, you got to think a little bit big picture as well. The championship's on the line, and we're going to race each other hard like we do every single week.
You look at your place in history here. How often do you allow yourself to think about what you've accomplished in that group? It's a short group that you're in there with.
Yeah, I do. I've had such a blessed career and so fortunate. And I think about the success we've had. I can't believe the 6 championships and the race wins. And an opportunity to another. Yes, I'm very aware of the opportunity, but it's not what I'm motivated by. I mean, I'm more motivated by racing these guys and racing for the championship and about it being the 7th. Yes, if it was to happen, it would be a place in history and I would join those two, but that's not what keeps me up at night and what motivates me.
But when I mention Richard Petty or Dale Sr., I mean, what comes to mind? David Pearson's in there. I mean, this is Mount Rushmore here.
It is for sure, but I guess maybe as a competitor and somebody that's still active, you don't look back on your legacy or look back on the things you've accomplished. You're looking forward. So, everything that goes through my mind is about the now, this opportunity. I hope I have an opportunity to win or be in contention to win more even after this, regardless of what the outcome is.
He's Joey Logano, Jimmie Johnson joining us here. NBC will bring you the Sprint Cup Championship. That'll be Sunday at 2 Eastern. What do you guys think of this track?
It's one of the best tracks we got. You're in Miami in November, which is always nice.
Anybody have complaints about this track?
I don't think so. I mean, it's so wide. You can run from the bottom to the top in the corners, and it promotes a great race. The tires wear out, which is a good thing for racing. So I don't see anything. I don't think I've ever talked to anyone that doesn't like Miami Speedway.
What's the wildest track?
I think our road courses have quickly turned into the wildest track. So Sonoma would probably be the speeds are low enough at Sonoma that contact is really high. So it's pretty nutty.
What other cars would you like to drive? Like if you had a chance to do Formula One, does that interest you guys at all?
It'd be cool to drive one.
I want to drive one.
I love our racing.
IndyCar.
Growing up, that was my goal, was to race Indy cars. Growing up in Southern California, the route that I was taking, there's Rick Mears and Robbie Gordon ahead of me that went that route. My opportunities turned towards NASCAR, but I've always wanted to sit in an open wheel vehicle and feel how much stopping power they have and how hard they can corner. I don't know if I'll ever get that chance, but I've definitely fantasized about it as a kid.
Where does youth help you, or did it help you, Joey, when you first got in and at a younger age than everybody else and being successful in NASCAR at a young age?
Our sport's a lot different than other sports. I think, the ability of having experience is more valuable than youth. I came into the sport very young, very inexperienced. I got my butt kicked every single week. I'm sure you remember that. And but it's been cool to kind of go through it.
Do you remember that, Jimmie?
I do
it wasn't
remember
that long ago. That's why I do remember that.
It's amazing how fast things change, though. He's a quick study.
I think that you're after living through that, and you learn so much in those times of trial, and you're just trying to figure out everything, and you don't even know what you don't know a lot of times, and you start finding one thing here and a little thing here, and you start running good at one track and then 2 tracks. Next thing you know, you're good at all the tracks, and you got shots at winning championships now, and it's cool after living through that what it means now to be going to Miami this weekend, racing for the ultimate prize at the end of the year.
Well, what did you think when somebody as young as Joey comes into the sport? Do you feel older, or you're like, oh, this snot-nosed kid, I hope he knows what he's doing?
As I'm older now, it's inevitable. Everything makes you feel older. But, I feel very fortunate. When I came into Cup, I was 25 and turned 26 partway through the season. And even then, I was kind of late for what was going on. Yeah. Jeff Gordon was in much earlier, and I was picked by him to drive. And to see Joey come in, Kyle Busch was very young as well. I'm thankful looking back that I had those extra years of life to learn and be ready, because there's nothing to get you ready for the top level at any discipline. If it's stick and ball, if it's racing, from the competitive side, experience, and then the challenges that come with making some money and friends and family. That just a complicated situation. We all are very glad to be in this position, but 25 was a good age for me to come in.
And we say goodbye to Tony Stewart. Coming up this weekend.
I'm going to miss some helmet throwing. Maybe for old time's sake, you come back and just throw some stuff for us.
What's your head much thrown at you from him?
No, I've been called in the truck with him once, and he was pretty hot and fired up.
Were you ever nervous around him when he got angry?
Yeah, you can't help it but be nervous around him.
What's crazy about Tony, though? He'll get really mad, and then, like a light switch, everything's fine. Everything's okay. He gets over it really quick. He comes right back. Which is good.
Maybe we can make him NASCAR president.
Go for it.
Or the president.
Let's start.